Like this video to support. Join our YouTube family now and never miss out on epic content, entertainment, and surprises. Hit that subscribe button. Let's start. Spoiler alert.
The video opens with a montage of a happy family over the years. Young Bee is seen having fun with her parents, until the mother develops cancer. While she maintains a happy face for Bee and continues to play with her, the mother eventually dies. Bee, age 12, moves home with her grandmother Margaret because her father is going in for heart surgery. He keeps acting crazy and making up false buddies to make Bee happy, but she doesn't show it. While visiting her father, Bee befriends a youngster named Benjamin, who is continually injuring himself and can be seen playing with knight and dragon toys. Bee walks out at night to buy a charger for her mother's ancient camcorder, but she comes upon an unusual-looking creature. When Bee cries out to her, expecting it is another youngster, the monster is surprised to see her. She rushes into the building and Bee follows her upstairs. She hears the creature's voice behind another door, speaking to a man named Cal, who lives on the floor above her. Despite Bee's attempts to communicate with the monster, Cal insists that no one is present. The next night, Bee notices Cal strolling with the creature before they enter another apartment. Bee watches as Cal climbs into a little girl's bedroom, attempting to reach Blue, a dim-witted but friendly huge furry purple imaginary friend, or if. Blue is hoping for the little girl to be his new child, but she can't see him. When Cal tries to bring Blue out, he sneezes loudly, waking her up, so he hides under the bed. He sneaks out of the room and discovers Bee staring at him. As she begins to turn away in fear, she is confronted by the female entity, an inkblot-style bug-like if called Blossom. When Blossom attempts to introduce herself, Bee faints. Bee awakens at Cal's apartment, beside Blue and Blossom. Blossom explains to Bee that they are imaginary friends who are in the process of creating a matchmaking agency to assist the other IFs in finding new children, or else they will vanish due to being forgotten. Bee agrees to aid them, despite her initial fear. The following day, Bee goes to see her father in the hospital, only to find Blue strolling around. Bee attempts to get him out of there because she knows people would look at her strangely if they see her talking to someone who is not visible to anybody else. Later, Bee joins Cal in a secluded location near Coney Island, where the IFs live in a type of retirement home. After passing via a secret corridor, Bee comes upon a bunch of IFs. She joins a support group for IFS who are grieving the loss of their children, which is conducted by Flower, a sunflower IF. There's also a superhero canine named Guardian Dog, a blubbering blob called Slime, an uneasy bubble, a smarmy cup of water named Ice, a dry-witted robot, a magician mouse, and a trenchcoat detective, if named Cosmo. Cal runs into Art Teacher, who recalls Bee and instructs him to contact Lewis, a wise and elderly teddy bear if who also remembers Bee by her full name, Elizabeth. Cal ends himself slipping between realms within the retirement home, similar to one of Art Teacher's paintings, before he and Bee participate in a Tina Turner musical performance with the other IFs. While Bee is perplexed by the environment around her, Lewis sits with her and encourages her to close her eyes and all of her memories would flow back to her. Bee does so, and she sees Coney Island crowded with both humans and IFs moving around. This prompts Bee to start aiding the IFs. Bee wants to begin by identifying an IF for Benjamin. They conduct a series of interviews with Lewis, encountering other IFs such as Uni the Joyful Unicorn, Spaceman the Astronaut, a farting gummy bear, Octokitty the onesie-wearing cat, a ghost, Ally the alligator, and a melting marshmallow man. Finally, none of them, including Blue, appear visible to Benjamin. At home, Bee goes through Margaret's old possessions and discovers she used to be a dancer. To her amazement, she discovers Blossom in one of the photos, implying that she was Margaret's imaginary friend. When Bee asks Blossom to contact Margaret, she becomes concerned. Bee then plays one of Margaret's old records, waking her awake at night. Margaret ends up dancing again, which leads Blossom to not only dance with her, but also to glow and grow butterfly wings because Margaret remembers her. Cosmo helps by handing Bee and Cal a file on Jeremy, Blue's former child who has grown into an uneasy adult. The three follow Jeremy to his job, where Blue makes a pathetic attempt to convince Jeremy to remember him, but he only gives off another huge sneeze, knocking Jeremy over and spilling his coffee on himself. When Jeremy is preparing to go to a meeting, appearing nervous, Blue places his hand on Jeremy's shoulder, causing Blue to glow like Blossom did because Jeremy now looks to remember Blue. He subsequently goes into his meeting feeling less apprehensive. When Bee returns home, she finds Margaret looking concerned and informing her that her father had a health scare in the hospital. Bee hurries to where all the other IFs are waiting for her. Her father is unconscious due to what appears to be a surgical complication. Bee sobs as she tells him about herself and how she shut out the world after her mother died. But she insists that she still needs him. Bee's father wakes up and tells her it was an excellent story. Bee goes outdoors to let Margaret know her father is awake, but as she looks around, all of the IFs are gone. Back at home, Bee returns to thank Cal for his assistance. The landlady comes outside to open the door for Bee, revealing that no one lives there and that the room is much smaller than she had thought. Bee examines one of her old drawings from her childhood with her parents, as well as a clown-like if named Calvin, showing that Cal had always been Bee's imaginary friend. Bee returns to the room and shuts her eyes to let her memories to resurface, and all of the ifs appear before her. She expresses gratitude to everyone who helped her. Bee's father leaves the hospital and goes to get her so she may move back in with him. Margaret watches them leave and expresses her hope for the two of them before turning to Blossom and chatting to her. Blossom then lets out a gasp of joy. Before the credits roll, Cal goes around helping the other ifs reunite with their former children, who are now adults but can still see them. Cosmo reunites with his old kid at the convenience store where he works, Uni reunites with the receptionist at Jeremy's employment, and Allie rejoins the nurse who cared for Bee's father. Benjamin also recruits a dragon if to join him. When they return home, Bee's father trips over an invisible if named Keith, who was his if as a child. Following the titles, there is a brief montage of footage starring Lewis, followed by a tribute to Louis Gossett Jr.
Please make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe to our channel. Check out the other videos if you watched this video all the way through. Cheers.